Today I'm going to be talking to you about Blitzkrieg, also known as Case White, the invasion of Poland. Now I'm going to be using adjectives such as quick, fast, rapid, overwhelming, overpowering, because that's exactly what Blitzkrieg, translating lightning war, implied when the German army advanced across Polish territory September 1st, 1939. Now Robert Citino, in his book Blitzkrieg the Desert Storm, defines Blitzkrieg as, quote, a doctrine of employing mechanized units, including air units, on a grand scale in order to defeat, pursue, and destroy entire armies within a 2 to 4 week span of time. And that is exactly what Germany did. They had Poland surrendered on September 27th, 1939, right between that 2 to 4 week time span. Now, Blitzkrieg was obtained through tanks, communication of radio, and planes. Now, it's important to go back in time to understand how Blitzkrieg came to be. The Treaty of Versailles in 1917 severely limited Germany to a 100,000-man army in which they were forbidden to build tanks, aircraft, and artillery above 3 inches in caliber. So what this did was that Germany revitalized old military thinkings used by Friedrich the Great in the past, in which maneuverability and mobility and movement was a key part in military. A huge contributor during the interwar period was Heinz Guderian, author of Panzer Leader, in which he describes the characteristics of the tanks, the Panzers 1 through 4, of armored plating, maneuverability, and firepower as 3 prime characteristics that helped Germany during the invasion of Poland. And this sentence sums it up perfectly. We believe that by attacking with tanks we can achieve a higher rate of movement than has been hitherto attainable, and what is perhaps even more important, that we can keep moving once a breakthrough has been made. Now, the most prevalent use of the tank, what I believe, is at the Bzura River on September 9th, when the Polish issued a counterattack against the German army. Now, the Polish infantry divisions, the 17th, the 14th, and the 25th, surrounded German flanking guard that were supporting the German 8th Army, and captured and surrounded those soldiers and imprisoning them. Now, the 30th Division of Germany actually had 1,500 prisoners alone. By this time, the German 8th Division did a complete 180 to go and support that captured infantry divisions, to go and assist them so they can get back to capturing Warsaw, which is Poland's capital. So the tanks did a complete 180, just showing the characteristic of maneuverability. And by the September 21st, over 100,000 Polish soldiers had surrendered to German military. And then right after that, they were able to do another complete 180 to go right back to Warsaw and surround Warsaw, and then overcome and take Warsaw really rapidly, really quickly. Another key component of Blitzkrieg was communication of radio. Now, in the past, at the battles, such as the battles of Gallipoli, Verdun, and Somme, communications breakdown hindered what could have been during the battle, what could have been progressions in the battle. So in 1932, huge radio exercises were issued to make sure communication would not go through that same breakdown that was experienced in the past, especially during World War I, where there's piles and piles of paper that were just useless, and readers couldn't interpret them fast enough or quick enough. So during this radio exercise during the summer of 1932, General von Bonnen, had come to a conclusion that there needed to be trained, professionalized middlemen who were able to decipher, cut down, and crisp messages that were important and efficient, and that were used and that could be used for quick, rapid advancement. And the last component of Blitzkrieg that is very important were planes. The Luftwaffe consisted of 1,700 planes before the war, 1,400 of which were used during the invasion of Poland, compared to only 400 of Poland's air fighters. Now, Polish used the aircraft P-11C that only had a top speed of 230 miles per hour compared to the German Me-109 with top speeds of 350 miles per hour. Now, that is a huge difference while in the air, let alone are they battling outnumbered, they're battling outspeed as well. And Poland aircraft was also not equipped with radar, whereas German aircraft was equipped with radar and radio. So, in addition to the Me-109, you had Stuka dive bombers in groups of 100, in a squadron of 160 that would bomb, just completely destroy Poland towns, enabling ground divisions to move fast and rapid to penetrate and maneuver quickly across Poland. And these dive bombers especially hit the towns Modlin and Warsaw, and those two towns in particular could have been very, very hindering to the ground movement. It could have been a long, drawn-out battle, but thanks to the Stuka dive bombers, they were able to bomb, and the ground forces were able to move and penetrate further and faster. Now, like I said, by September 27th, the German army Poland had surrendered because the German army had entrapped them in a giant kessel, like the Polish word for cauldron. And all this was obtained in a 4-week time span because of tanks, communication of radio, and planes, something that couldn't have been done during World War I or past wars, because of those interwar improvements and that harmonious marriage that allowed for quick, rapid, overwhelming Blitzkrieg of Poland. So, as an aspiring teacher, as an aspiring educator, I want to also elaborate on the findings in my sources that were incredible sources, but during the interwar period I noticed there was a giant theme of, even though that the Treaty of Versailles severely limited Germany, they found a way to adapt. And it led me to the conclusion that there will always be adaptation, and there will always be this giant need to improve militarily. But that's a different argument we'll get to later. Thank you for listening.